And then, we talked about soul ties and things like that, twin flames and all that kind of stuff in previous sessions. I may be engaging with you on a level that my spirit may not be ready for.
Right.
And you may not be qualified. I've talked about that before. I don't believe everybody needs to be up in your life at the same capacity. Just because somebody fine or whatever, or they paid for a meal, or I paid for a meal, or whatever the situation is, it does not qualify you to enter my body and have the sex. That's not what we're doing here. I feel like our dating society has shifted to I'm owed this. And I feel like if you feel old because you bought some flowers, which I don't even think some men do that anymore, but bought a gift and dinner for the date, that is called prostitution. And there are lovely sex workers out there that will help you with that solicitation.
Right.
Welcome to the Recycle Podcast, where we discuss everyday issues from a mental health perspective. We are your hosts, Dr. Rashonda Strickland,
Dr. LaFanya Jones-Hines,
and Dr. Nichelle Wall. Welcome back to session 120, when the expectation is sex. This week's mood music is brought to you by Drake, the sensitive Scorpio. Best I ever had.
Baby, you my everything. You all I ever wanted. We could do it real big, bigger than you ever done it.
Yes, okay. Roll, honey, roll, honey. So this one is another one that does not need explanation. So I'm just gonna go straight to the question.
Let's do it.
Should women tell men on the first date they are not going to have sex before or after a date?
Preferably before. However, I think you can change your mind during the date. So I think you can preface it like, hey, look, don't go in here hoping. But if things are going well and you like, you know what, maybe, I think you have the option to change your mind as the date progresses.
Of course, I'm a before person, me being a resident sex therapist on the podcast. I believe in communicating. Of course, if y'all just started communicating 24 hours before, that may not have come up. But I do think in the longer talking phases before you actually go on a date, to definitely start having those conversations about expectations, boundaries, things like that. And it doesn't have to be very sterile, but you need to talk about it, because how do you know if you don't talk?
Exactly.
So I would say no before a first date.
Dissenting opinion.
Yeah. Because this is a first date. How are we even at that question yet?
Gotcha.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I do agree that eventually we need to discuss, like, okay, I'm not having sex until marriage, or, whatever the case may be. But the first date, like, sir, I don't know your last name yet. Like, I don't even know where you live. Why? How did we get from my first name and know what meal I like to are we having sex?
It is a big leap.
It's a whole lot of gap in between that. And so, y'all, I'm gonna tell y'all this. So, Vercel, this question was for you, because you asked this question. My cousin asked this question months ago on his Facebook page, and I responded, and I told him, I said the same thing. I said, no, why am I even having this discussion with you right now? And he was like, wait, what? Cuz you telling me you're not having conversations like that for the first date? No. He said, well, I think you should pose this question to your girls on the podcast.
Hey,
so we can see what they say. I said, okay. So, Vercel, this one's for you.
Yeah, and we all date differently. We all are comfortable communicating things at different times, different, parts of the relationship. So it just kind of depends, of course.
Yeah.
And I would say, and I also say no, because first of all, STDs run rampant around this earth.
They do. And
we ain't got no
out here
busting it wide open.
Right. Yeah. And even if you use protection,
that's not 100%.
That is
true too.
Not 100%. And I got a whole lot. Come on, girl, give us a list.
Run it down.
And I got to make sure I like you enough that if this condom break and I get pregnant, I can deal with you for the rest of my life. Because I'm not having an abortion.
It's the liking you.
Well, we can't now. Sorry.
We digress.
That's another conversation.
I know.
But I agree with all of those things. I think I agree with that, and I agree with it's individualized, right? Which we all know that, but because it is important for you to be able to know like who you dealing with and why are you dealing with this person. Because if I don't know why I'm dealing with you, I may not necessarily want to. Because if I don't understand, like, we talked about categorizing people, right? If I don't know if like, you just somebody that I like hanging out with, having brunch with, chilling with, or no, like, no, you are somebody that problem solves really well. So you're more of a consultation type of person. So that's really the relationship that we got. Yeah. Like it takes time to be able to figure out that kind of stuff with a person. You're not going to know that first date. And if I've already like, hey, let's go ahead and jump in the bed together. And then, we talked about soul ties and things like that, twin flames and all that kind of stuff in previous sessions. I may be engaging with you on a level that my spirit may not be ready for.
Right.
And you may not be qualified. I've talked about that before. I don't believe everybody needs to be up in your life at the same capacity. Just because somebody fine or whatever, or they paid for a meal, or I paid for a meal, or whatever the situation is, it does not qualify you to enter my body and have the sex. That's not what we're doing here. I feel like our dating society has shifted to I'm owed this, and I feel like if you feel old because you bought some flowers, which I don't even think some men do that anymore, but bought a gift and dinner for the date, that is called prostitution. And there are lovely sex workers out there that will help you with that solicitation.
Right. At all levels.
Yes. But if you are choosing to build a romantic relationship with me, I don't even know if I like you yet on a first date.
Well, that goes to that whole point we've talked many times over about communication. You have to be but not just communication to the outside, your own internal communication. Do you truly know what you want? Do you know going in that you want this from this other person?
Yeah.
And if you know that, have you told them?
That's what I was getting ready to, you took it right out of here. Cause I was getting ready to say, if your intentions is, if you take me out, you are expecting sex, then you need to say that.
Exactly.
Yes. Regardless of whether it's the man or the woman,
exactly.
or the man and man, or the woman and woman, or every version in between. If you, yes, I agree. If you're the one that's like, yeah, I know I'm going to get me some tonight. You need to be asking that.
Is that something you like to partake in?
Yes.
Because the reality is there are some individuals that want to partake in that on the first date, and that is okay with them.
Exactly.
If intimacy, whatever form of it, is supposed to be consensual, you don't get to pressure me. That is part of rape culture, to coerce your partner into doing anything that they don't want to do. And I'm telling you right now, I'm the type of person, when I feel that energy coming, I immediately shut down, and you about to get a whole other side. Nichelle, like, she's a very vicious person when it gets to that, because now I feel like you are a threat to my life.
Oh, you get straight homegirl mode from me then. I don't even like, I ain't even trying to like put out those sexy vibes. Hey, what's up, dude? You see what I'm saying? Like, what you got going on?
When I start calling you bruh and dude,
you see what I'm
it's
saying?
over.
Yes, it's over. You're a homeboy now.
Oh my, hey dude, look, hey my guy.
Yeah, you my homeboy now. You have been put in that case.
Yes. Yeah. I think this is all about managing your own expectations, being honest with yourself, and communicating your desires and your wants, needs, and expectations to the other person.
Definitely.
Neither is wrong. Neither having sex on the first date is not wrong. Right. And not having sex on the first date is not wrong. It just depends on the two people that are at, or however many people are there, agreeing that this is what's going to happen.
And I think that for men or women, if that's your intentions and you are then you say that before you get to the restaurant or the event that y'all are going to. Don't wait
so you don't waste your time,
because you don't waste your time, and then so you don't throw people off of like, okay, so maybe we just need to go Dutch. Okay, cool, but let me know, because maybe I want to go get some money out the bank.
And understand what the definition of date means.
Yeah, the process of getting to know someone.
Yeah.
Hookup is different than date.
Sneaky link is different than date.
All of those. Yes.
And I think part of that get to know you before you even get to that point is, do we have the same definition for that?
Yeah.
You know, so when you say, can I take you out?
What does that mean? Mm-hmm. And I literally say that. That's like almost a knee jerk. What do you mean? Take me out where? What are we doing? Like as friends or like romantic? Oh, okay. Well, what you want to do? Because you asked me. So I'm not planning a date. You asked me. Because trust me, when it's my turn to plan a date, I go all out. I don't have no problem with that. Y'all know how I am.
You do.
So if you're not coming with it, don't even ask me to do nothing.
Well, and the thing about it is, that's a good line of question, because then you let them know that you asked me.
Yes.
So I'm not expecting to pay.
No, I'm not. And I don't have a problem with paying. I prefer some traditional things. I do. But I realize that is not the era that we live in. But if I am being asked out on a date, which is typically how it's going to go with me, because the introvert be strong when I'm meeting new people, I get weirded out. I'm freaked out. Oh my God, my nerves, I'm anxious. So the guy typically is going to have to ask me out.
Yeah.
I expect for you to either pay or we can go Dutch. That I'm okay with. I'm still going to look at you
But let
funny.
me know ahead of time.
Yes.
All of this is about communication. Open your mouth.
Yeah.
Say it with your chest. Like, don't whisper it to me. Say, like, just be honest, because if we're both showing up and we're showing the real person that we are, we can make an informed decision so much sooner versus, okay, I've dated you for 3, 4, 5 months and then I realize you a piece of trash. Like, you garbage.
And I think it can make the other person on the other side start to wonder if you've been plotting and planning. You know, like, is it that whole predatory feeling?
And it is.
You know, like, are you being present on the date?
Yeah.
Or have you been the whole time just waiting for the moment where, like, we can have this conversation and it can steer that way?
Yes.
You know, I'm sitting here eating my mozzarella sticks and you over there like,
I can't wait to
she put that
undress her.
mozzarella stick in her mouth. I like it.
You better be patient so I don't choke on this cheese like I normally do eating mozzarella sticks.
Or if we, going to do something a little bit more fancy, I may have my ceviche or something like that. But
Yeah, either way.
I'm over here thinking, one person's over there thinking like, okay, we're just doing this. We're vibing. We're getting to know each other. I'm trying to figure out, what's your favorite color? Asking all the mundane first date questions. And on the other side, you're not even focused on what's going on.
You don't even know if you like me, but you're ready to check these tasks and these lists off in your head. Okay, I took on a date. Okay, now I'm about to get the draws. Okay, I'm about to do this. I'm about to do that. Sir, do you like me? And I'm saying sir because I date sirs. Sir, do you like me?
And do I like you?
That. Well, I'm already.
Do you know
part,
if I like you? But that's the thing.
That's
Do you know if I like you?
Because some people can't understand that. Like I haven't had the expectation of sex pop up, even though that may be the case. They just didn't let me know. But I've had the expectation of a kiss, and I'm like, sir, I first of all, I don't know where your lips been. And it's COVID out here in these streets and monkeypox. So don't touch me.
Okay.
Like I'm unless we know each other, I would rather you just say, hey, can I give you a kiss? And I'll be like, come on.
Exactly. Yes, you can be in my space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Consent.
Yes. These new dating expectations are weird to me.
Tell me you use R. Kelly songs as a guideline without telling me you use R. Kelly songs as a guideline.
Ooh.
Dang.
Look, I've been out the dating game for a long time. So I hear this a lot from Dr. Wall and my clients. But I agree, it's weird.
It is. And I don't...
Weird flex, but okay.
I'm very much... what you see, what you get. And I think a lot of people don't believe that, but that's not my business. That's theirs. But I think guys, when they have gone on a date with me, they're always waiting for the other shoe to drop or for me to be different. And so when I'm telling them the truth of whatever we're discussing, they're always like, and then what? Or are you sure? Well, you probably meant it like this. No, I said exactly what I meant, and I meant what I said. Mm-hmm. And that's typically why I don't ever have to worry about that. Because I got that look on, we're not doing any of that. I don't ever want to put myself in a situation to ever be victimized again. So I'm just like, I'm going to speak the words that I need to speak to effectively communicate.
Do y'all think this is different because we are therapists? And when I say that, I'm going to put some caveat on that, that we have a different ability to be able to communicate about feelings, communicate about thoughts, expectations, that, you know, our training has kind of immersed us in a world where the whole point is to do exactly what we're saying, so that we have a intensified or increased or, you know, higher ability.
I can see why. Yeah, I can see that.
So that the average person just doesn't have that skill.
I definitely can agree with that. I think it also has to do with your upbringing and how you were reared, because a lot of the things that I know about dating came from childhood, actually.
Gotcha.
Like my mom educated me on how, you know, to be a lady. Like I've said this on a previous session, how to sit, how to dress, how to, you know, eat at the table correctly with all the silverware if you go somewhere super fancy and things like that. But also my grandfather, Tom Wall III, who is now deceased, he made a point of taking me out on daddy or granddaughter dates. And so he taught me, you know, what it feels like to be loved by a man who doesn't want anything in return, just to get to know me. And so I kind of use that a lot of times as my litmus test to be like, okay, how does this feel? Does it feel like those encounters that I had with my grandfather? Not anything incestuous, but just to kind of put it up and be like, okay, yeah, this is vibing the way I want it to vibe. But is that the norm? No, it's not.
Okay. So I agree with you, and I think in addition to, I have my father, and my father has, he's always been one to compliment me and, tell me if an outfit is going to attract the wrong attention or, things like that. So whenever I started dating, I didn't flock to the first man who told me I was beautiful, because I'm used to hearing that. My dad tells me that all the time. So I carry myself in a certain way. I've had men to tell me on the first date, yeah, no, I know this is not going to work because I'm going to have to work too hard for you. Like, they actually said that. And I was like, okay, I can appreciate you being honest. And now I know where you stand and we're good. Like, we don't have to. And like, they may even like still try to text me to see if like the temperature has changed. No, sir, it hasn't. Stop texting me.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about you?
So I did not have that, and this is no slight or shade to my father, but he wasn't the most emotionally available. He was definitely physically present. So I didn't have that kind of stuff where, you were told that you were beautiful and you practice going on dates and things like that, or daddy-daughter dances. So I had to learn, and I love my parents dearly, and I hope they know that. So anything I ever say like this, it's nothing negative about them, but I didn't learn anything about being with anybody. I literally had to learn about dating by myself, trial and error, which got me into a lot of trouble early on. And I'm still learning now, because I didn't have a whole lot of background in dating. So I made a lot of these mistakes and fell for a lot of these things, into a lot of these situations very early on. But I also think that helped me build for later,
exactly,
on having better discernment now than I may have had if I didn't have some of those experiences.
And I think because of my relationship with my father and my standards, I think that's why it took me so long to get married. Because I remember when I was dating you, You and your husband used to be like, well, if he ain't gonna act right, she gonna show let him go.
Okay, because I wasn't even worried about it.
Right. So I think that is how I got those standards, because my relationship with my father, it taught me, and even seeing my parents' relationship to each other, it taught me, yep, that's what love's supposed to look like.
Now, I definitely will say that once I was married well before my mother and my stepfather got married, but I think seeing the way my stepfather loves my mother has helped me understand how a man loves a woman in a different kind of way.
Yeah.
Because he is very in tune with her.
We love Step.
Step. Oh my God, love Step.
Papa Pina.
Yeah. So he's very in tune with her and what she wants, what she needs, and is like, you ain't got to ask. It's already done. You mentioned it. It's already done.
Yeah.
So I think that has helped build some layer of expectation and change in my thought process as well on, okay, this is maybe not copy, but emulate in some kind of way. Some of the
macro model.
Yeah, a macro model on some of the things that I would like to incorporate in my own relationship.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the major things that would benefit this generation of dating, would be seeing more healthy examples of what this looks like and how to navigate the waters of dating, regardless of when you decide or choose to do things, but having some example.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, even in our TV shows, we don't really have the best examples on how to date, court. And courting is not dead. The talking stage is courting, y'all. Like, that's what that is. We just got a new name for it. Calm down. But we just don't have none of that no more.
Yeah, because when we were growing up, we had the Cosby Show. We had Different World. How Dwayne was pursuing first
you had
Denise,
Martin,
and then Jasmine
Family
got
Matters,
Living
like
Single,
a bunch of things. So even if there were unhealthy examples of it, there still was like dialogue about why it was unhealthy. Like there was
some balance.
Realness on these shows.
Absolutely.
And then
even the Fresh Prince.
yeah we just don't see that as prevalently in the community of television anymore, but we need it.
Agreed. So we're gonna say it again, like we said last time. Communicate, enunciate.
It's important.
It is. And before we get to the quote, I just want to say, if y'all saw last session, Dr. Jones Hines, a.k.a. LaFanya, a.k.a. I won't say her childhood nickname, but she was cussing. And y'all know that I've been waiting patiently for 2 years, 2.5 years to get to cussing on the podcast. So now that she has used the
multiple,
and if y'all watch South Park, you know that the F word is the worst word that you can say, because you shouldn't say the F word. You shouldn't say the F word. So now that Samuel L. Jackson's favorite word has been used, the floodgates have been opened. So please be prepared if I start engaging in extra realness. I just want to prepare all the saints out there that listen.
Well, y'all gonna have to put the oil on me when I
y'all,
go to church Sunday.
That was y'all's trigger warning. You only get one. So if you didn't watch this session, you're done. Okay. Y'all know we always end off with a quote.
And today's quote reads, I feel that the moment a date happens, that it's a social encounter that is potentially a sexual encounter. The question of sex needs to be negotiated from the first moment on. Camille Paglia.